Welcome to another episode of I Shake My Head with Lisa and Sam.
Hello, friends of the podcast.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Samantha.
Lisa.
Assuming we're talking still, are we? Are we still speaking? Are we still in speaking terms?
I don't know. We're at the lake right now, so it's very possible that I might have you, I don't know.
Well, you won't. Well, you wouldn't have drowned me. That's
corner.
for sure. Right? Right? I could have. I don't know. I think I'm thinking that we probably have had some fights, but probably as usual worked it out. Okay. You came to the light and saw my way of thinking.
Yes, that's usually how everything goes, is that everyone must agree with Lisa.
Well, it's not that they must agree. It's that just seems to be the way that things go.
Yes. Right? Okay. So I'm assuming we're having a great vacation. There's going to hopefully have been lots of sun. Because I predict that if there is even a moment, a minuscule moment, not even a second, it's like a millisecond of like cloud or a raindrop happens to get loose somehow, you are going to be like, I knew it was going to rain on the week we were at the lake.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. You know, all I care about two things. I care about craft dinner and I care about the lake and I care about the sun. That's all I care about is I just want sun. I'd like it to be sunny and hot from 10 to 5.
Yes.
And I know it can rain all night that it wants.
You make so much noise at roughly around 8-ish, 9, maybe 9 if I'm lucky. And then you start to make a lot of noise.
Yeah, by 9 I'm mad. By 9 I'm mad. Because by 7, between 7 and 8 I am up and dressed and pretty much ready for the day.
Yes.
And then I will find something to snack on. Uh-huh. I will find a magazine to read or a puzzle book to do or I will, if the Wi-Fi is good, I will look at my phone. From 8 to 9, I am pissy and mad and starting to think, okay, what am I going to, I think I have to go outside quite a bit now because that makes noise to get that door open.
Yes, it does.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I roll.
I'm already having so much fun on my vacation.
Right. So here's hoping, friends of the podcast, we're still friends by the end of it.
Yes, that would be a good idea.
I'm just saying, right? I'm just saying. Hopefully we didn't run out of food. Hopefully we didn't run out of drinks.
Oh, God. I'm sure we have not run out of food. I have no doubt that we have enough.
I hope so. Hopefully we have found enough Caesars
to supply our entire week.
Yeah. And then wait for the following week when you hear the live version of all the fun that went down. Right?
There you go. So this is just a prediction. We're predicting
that we managed and we did okay.
But you know what I'm not predicting?
What?
The perfect breakfast.
What do you mean you're not predicting it?
Well, because I don't think we can have the perfect breakfast out at the lake.
No, but we can have, what is your perfect breakfast?
I think my perfect breakfast is like.
And is this anywhere or is this like walk me through this?
Well, okay. The lake perfect breakfast for me is probably like.
Bacon.
No, not always bacon.
Bacon.
I think. Yes.
Bacon.
I think for me, it's always like an over easy egg or maybe some good scrambled eggs with some cheese in it and some
bacon.
Toast and about 5 cups of coffee.
All right. So first off, I hate to burst your bubble. You're never going to be inside for not long enough for 5 cups. You know that, right? 2.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Right? 2.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I'll give you the okay. So if we're talking lake, I'll give you the scrambled eggs. Uh-huh. But I don't know. Perfect breakfast overall. Like I like a pancake, but it's a lot of work. Pancakes are lots of work.
Pancakes are a lot of work and I don't always love them, so.
Well, because they're temperamental, right?
I just don't always love a pancake.
Because you know why that is. It's because I think pancakes, out of all the breakfast foods, I think pancakes have the biggest chance of disappointing us.
Potentially. I think French toast is right up there as well, because I don't think you always do that well.
A French toast is fine. Are you saying you as in me?
No, I think people just don't always make a good French toast. Sometimes it's soggy. Sometimes it's not done enough. So it's like, or it's done too much and it's like super spongy.
I disagree. I think French toast people can pull off. Right? It's just toast and a bit of egg. But I think pancake, too thin. Is it too thin? Is it too fluffy? There's no taste. Is it Aunt Jemima? Whatever she's called now. Is it too watery? Is it what? What is it?
I don't know.
Right?
I just don't always love them.
And because that's even like when you go to the restaurants, right? The Denny's does a good pancake. The Chorus, not so much.
Yeah, I guess so.
Right. So
I don't know. Like my sister, when we were on vacation, they had pancakes twice, I think. And I'm like, this is a lot of pancakes. This is crazy. And then she told me, she's like, I would love nothing more than a waffle pan. Huh?
What does she want a waffle pan for?
Yeah. And I'm like, no. She goes, I really want a waffle pan. And I'm like, that's the weirdest thing to ask for, a waffle pan.
That seems weird.
She's like, yeah, because she would really like to make waffles. She likes, I'm like, okay.
Even though like, waffles really is just the pancake mix, just in a different pan.
Right. Yeah. And I'm like, remember when we used to like have big waffle parties and people used to come over and we used to make tons of waffles and have all the sauces and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I said, but they weren't my favorite.
No, waffles aren't my favorite. Unless it's an Eggo. Unless it's an Eggo.
That's different.
Right? Yeah, Eggos are different. You know what? That would be my perfect, actually, this is my perfect breakfast at the lake. Well, and you should know this by now because we've experienced it, is toaster strudel.
Oh, yeah. Toaster strudel.
That's coming to, but the only problem though is with the toaster at the lake, chances are we're going to set the alarm off, right? So I'm always a little bit, right? I'm always a little hesitant with the toast.
You know, now that you've reminded me about Eggo waffles, which by the way is Cheyenne's favorite breakfast.
I love Eggo waffles so much.
She loves that. And then she puts peanut butter on it and syrup.
I don't know about that, but.
Yeah. No, it's actually an interesting combination. Yeah,
but I'm also not 7.
Well, I know, but I ate it and it was interesting.
Okay.
So, and I might be 7. But maybe we should bring Eggo waffles.
We could bring Eggo waffles.
Maybe we have brought Eggo waffles.
Oh, maybe we loved Eggo waffles, right?
But I think the perfect breakfast is actually Eggs Benedict.
Oh, yeah. Hey, mm-hmm. I think there's something to be said for a good Eggs Benny.
Like, it's like the traditional, Canadian bacon with the perfectly done poached egg, that beautiful lemony hollandaise.
Oh yeah, like a lemony, like it's funny when I can think back to my mom used to make the very best Eggs Benedict, and it was such a treat, right? Like, so always at Christmas, but it was such a treat, and I can taste her hollandaise. I can taste the lemon in her hollandaise still all these years later. Right? And I've never tasted it again.
Really?
No, never.
Yeah.
Never. I have sisters that will say they can recreate. They can't.
Oh, they can't.
There's no recreation there. But then, you know what? On the other hand, who doesn't love a good frozen hash brown?
Don't talk to me. I
like the patty. I like the patty one.
No, okay. The patty is okay. I hate shredded.
You always hate shredded.
I hate shredded. It's just a waste of time.
Well, why do you feel that strongly? I'm like, nobody's asking you to shred them.
No, but I think it's a waste of time. I think if you're going to eat a hash brown, it needs to be like a potato that you've boiled and then cut so you can fry it in the butter and and do the stuff. Right. And like all that kind of stuff. Not shredded. Why are you shredding a potato? A potato is not meant to be shredded.
I mean, I guess I don't want to shred it. I'll eat a shredded, but I don't want to do the shredding.
Give me cubed. Give me like a normal potato. Cut it up. Just fry it. We're done.
Yeah, but I still love, like, I thought about this the other day. I think I must have seen a commercial and I'm like, you know what? McDonald's really hit it when they did that frozen hash brown.
Well, everybody does it now.
I know, but they were the starters of it, right? Like, I'll tell you, there's nobody enjoying an Egg McMuffin without Mr. McDonald.
That's true.
Right?
And like, who doesn't have an Egg McMuffin, bacon, whatever, sausage, whatever, with without the hash brown? Like, you just don't. You're having the combo.
You got to get the combo, right? You got to have them both.
You got to have them both.
Right? I don't want them in my sandwich together. Unlike you, I like them separate.
No. Maybe next time that's how I'll eat it. I'll have it all together, mushed.
I don't understand that.
Mushed.
But that's just me. That's just me. So I don't know. I think you might be right. I think it might be something to be said with the eggs Benedict being but sometimes though, one hell of a good omelet, Samantha.
Oh, well, and then you have, it depends though.
Right.
Not every omelet is the best.
No, not everyone.
No. But no, a good omelet always, that helps.
I think at the end of the day, the moral of the story is you and I love a breakfast.
I know.
Right? We can't get around it. We just love a breakfast.
We do better at breakfast than any other.
We do better at breakfast. Exactly. Right? Right? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Well, you can always have breakfast for supper.
Yeah, I'll have breakfast. I could eat breakfast any time of the day. Yeah, for sure I could. You betcha.
Okay, I have a question.
Okay.
Did you have any nicknames from your youth that either your friends or family gave you?
Not really. Let me think. Did I have any?
Lise.
That's
funny.
I always just think with Lise. I always just think, I don't get why we can't just add that fourth letter. Right? My dad calls me Lise. Hey, Lise. When he leaves a message, hey, Lise, Dad here. HHG will slip in a Lise.
Oh, yeah.
Every now and then you slip in a Lise.
Mm-hmm.
Did I have I don't think I really had.
Nothing in high school, college, when you went out to college or university?
Not really. No. My Uncle Ron used to call me Ita.
Why?
Instead of Lisa, Ita.
Ita.
Right? Loved that about as much as I loved Elise. Right? But loved it better than when he called my kid sister, which was Burrhead. So I'm like, I think I have the better nickname, even though they're both really, really bad. Right?
Burrhead, that's good.
Burrhead. Yeah, no, I don't think I did not come from a family of nicknames. Like my mom didn't, like my, but then I shouldn't say that because my kid's sister is Bill and I am Bill.
Well, yeah, you do have a nickname.
Right? So I guess I do have a nickname but it's just between me and her and it's just Bill, Biuw, because it's spelled that way.
Yes, I know.
And it's always, unless, only time that changes is if you're in trouble or somebody hasn't, now in the days of texting, if somebody has ignored somebody for too long, then you'll get a text and it'll be like, William, oh, sorry. You got my attention. But it's always Biuw, like love Bill. Hi Bill. How's Bill? That's it. I only think of her as either my kid sister or Bill, but that's it. I don't think I'm a nickname person. You?
Oh,
what about you?
I had a nickname when I was in high school. It's called Bammer.
Bammer.
Yeah, I was called Bammer. Not super attractive. My mother had a weird name. I don't know. I think she made it up. I believe she made it up. She called me Stella Mansa when she was really pissed off at me.
Oh, okay. Is that like some weird word from her language? I don't
know. I think she just made it up.
Okay.
And everyone has always called me Sam. So I've had a nickname. My name has been shortened my entire life.
I elongated your name. Mm-hmm. Again, I went from Sam back to Samantha.
But you call me Sam.
I do call you Sam, but sometimes I'll call you Samantha.
And then there are people who go, Sammy. Where's Sammy? What's Sammy doing?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm 53.
Right. I feel you've outgrown Sammy.
I mean, Sam, I get it. I don't care if people call me Sam.
Yeah.
But Sammy is just like, it's like I'm 7 again.
Right. It's like you're back. And then it's funny because then like our dear HHG, she nicknamed herself HHG and it's totally stuck.
It is.
Right? We totally, lots of times I use her real name, but lots of times I'll be like, hey, HHG, morning HHG. How's the HHG today?
I know, exactly.
Right? Which is kind of funny, right? It's like HHG, but I don't know. Other than that, not a lot for nicknames. No,
I think that's nothing overly spectacular. I don't think. But
no, I don't think so. Okay, question for you. Mm-hmm. I've been wondering about this. I have a friend that does this. She does pottery. Debbie Dew, friend of the podcast.
Really?
She's a pottery girl.
I love pottery.
Do you think you and I could potter? Could we potter? I feel we could potter.
I don't think we can.
You don't think we could potter?
No, because
Really? Why can't we potter?
I don't think you have enough coordination.
I'm not thinking like the movie Ghost type of Potter.
No.
Okay. But I feel we could Potter.
No. I don't think we can.
And
it's like you got to spin the wheel with your foot. You got to keep it going. You have to keep the turnstile moving. You have to use your hands. You have to mold the clay. You would be done after 2 minutes.
I was going to say, you already lost me after 30 seconds. I already am like on to like I'm already on to a new sport.
Right.
But
I'm on to a new sport.
Right. So you don't think so you really don't think we could Potter? And I feel that that's the right phrase. I don't know if it is, but right, people who do pottery, they potter, which means to do pottery.
That's an official statement.
I feel it is.
That's what they call themselves, potters.
Potters.
I don't think so. I think
they potter.
I don't.
Could we Potter? I think we could Potter.
Could we Potter?
Is there like a Potter course? Can we take Potter? Can we go? Can we take
you
pottering?
Know what? Be my guest.
I would go to a Potter. Let's Potter.
Away.
Let's Potter. Let's Potter, shall we?
Oh my God.
Right. I feel we could Potter.
Then go for it.
Like I want to build like a cup.
I want to build a cup.
I want to build a cup. I want to build a cup. Okay. That's what I want to do.
So let's go find a pottery class and let's see you build a cup. And if it's more than a day, if you have to actually do it for more than a day,
really,
are you going to follow through with all of the lessons?
I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything for more than a day.
Okay, so you don't really want to learn how to potter?
I want to learn how to Potter, but I want like the quickened version of pottering. I want to learn how to Potter.
What is the quickened version?
I don't know,
pottering?
Like I don't know, like get your hands wet. Here's the clay. Make something.
I think
spin it on that wheel and let it go.
Lisa, for those people who actually do pottery,
no, they have tons of skill.
A bigger deal than that.
No, I get that. So I don't want to compete with them. Those people.
You just want a rudimentary cup, right?
Yeah, I just want to make a cup. I just want to make like a little cup, just like a little cup. I can be like, look what I did today. I pottered.
How about you should just get some clay and just make it a lump of clay and stick something in it and go, look at what I made.
Because I don't think that's officially pottering. I want to Potter. I'm just saying.
Oh, God.
Oh God, Samantha. Okay, here's something I've been here. What? I was curious one day.
Sorry, you have insulted so many people who make pottery. I'm like, people are gonna at you. I can see this happening. They're gonna at you, Lisa.
Why?
There's a lot of skill that goes into pottery. Like you're in for it. You are so in for it.
Which is why I'm just wondering if we could do it.
You can't.
Well, I
think I can. I know I don't have the skill set to do that.
But maybe there's like a pottering teacher who would teach us how to potter
in 1 day, in 1 hour, because that's about a span.
Samantha,
that's the span of your attention right now.
You used to be able to go to the bar and paint a picture in one night.
Well, that's different.
Could I be a painter?
I doubt it.
Right. It's the same type of thing.
Oh my God.
Right? Could I be a painter then? If I can't be a potter, could I be a painter?
So do you want there to be a clay night? Is that what you're hoping? A pottery night?
Maybe I want a clay night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something like that.
All right, let's go find you some mud and see what we can do.
Clay night at the Hudson's or something.
Oh yeah, that'll go for a while.
Right? All right, let's move past this indifference that we seem to have. Right? Samantha, did your parents ever tell you a white lie so they could get out of doing something with you when you were young?
Of course, probably.
Do you recall any of them?
No, because
I recall.
I don't understand people who can remember shit. I don't remember anything. I have vague memories of all bunches of shit.
So I'm gonna out my parents on this one. So when we were kids, we used to always go to Niagara Falls, right? And when we were little, we went to Marineland. Right? And they have the park, they have the water park, they have I don't know if they still do now, I don't think they do, but they had that. And then they had where the forestry farm type of thing is with all the deer, and you can feed the deer, blah, 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 right? We loved it. So fun. The goats eating the ice cream cup out of your hand, all that. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Wendy McIntyre hated that shit. Went once in good mother fashion, went one time and decided never again.
Uh-huh.
The white lie that she told us was she told us this big old rigmarole story about how far Marineland actually was from where we always stayed. It was so far, girls. Girls, it's so far. It's going to take up most of the day to just get there, right? Like, and is that how we want to spend our last day in Niagara Falls? Well, of course it's not. Okay. Well, sorry. It's really far. Maybe next time. Okay. Then as an adult, my parents moved to Niagara Falls, right? And I went and I was with my sister and we were driving down on the way to my mom and dad's and I saw the sign for Marineland and I'm like, shut the fuck up. That's where Marineland is, right in the heart of Niagara Falls. Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's good.
That was the white lie. She told us another white lie when we were kids about going. We got dragged into going to horseback riding camp. I don't even like horses, right? Mm-hmm. And she made it seem like it was such an experience, and blah blah blah. And we would take this road and we would drive and drive, and we'd have a little McDonald's breakfast. That was our special treat. Drive and drive for what seemed like hours, and it was like literally 40 minutes away from home. I'm like, you're sending us to places that are in the backyard. So my mom was horrendous for that type of thing.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. Was not that funny at the time. Not that funny at the time.
No. I mean, my parents probably, said stuff like, oh, it's closed or things like that.
Right.
Things that parents do because they don't want to do that. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all.
Right. I would be that parent.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Well, that's why we're not parents.
This is why we're not parents.
Because we already knew we were going to lie to kids.
Well, and that...
already going to be a bad role model, so it probably is not wise to go down that journey.
No. And being around a 7-year-old for a while made me realize that I would rather have just fun than try and be the person who disciplines.
Yeah, absolutely, right?
Because I got into a lot
time
of trouble too.
Yeah, right? Who got time for that sort of shit, right? Exactly.
But no, I don't remember. I don't know. Maybe my parent, I just don't remember anything. I don't know what you people with brains. I don't know. I don't get that.
I remember things.
I don't.
Okay. Things.
How about this? If you could be at a dinner table with any 3 celebrities, who would they be?
Celebrities?
Sure.
Okay. Well, Anne Murray's got to be there.
Oh my God. Always with Anne Murray.
Oh, Anne Murray. And I want to visit Cher. I want Cher at
Cher's
my table.
Coming to dinner.
Yeah, because Cher and Anne Murray would know each other because Anne Murray probably would have been like, hey, Cher, I'm the reason why you and Sonny got to go to Vegas and be on the strip, right? Because Anne Murray started all that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
so I'm going to have Cher, Anne Murray, and you know what? Right now, it could change depending on any time. I'm going to pick Melissa McCarthy.
Oh, she would be fun.
She'd be fun, right?
Uh-huh. She would be
Those
fun.
are my 3. Those are my 3.
Okay.
And what about you?
I like Dolly Parton.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I think I would like Dolly Parton. Do I want a singer? Do I like people enough to invite them over for dinner? Maybe.
But you haven't liked me and the HHG enough to invite us over for
Lisa,
dinner.
Yes, Lisa. So you keep reminding me.
Right. I'm just saying, right?
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Actually, you know what? Adele probably would be fun. I think she'd have some.
Oh, yeah.
She would have some great stories, I think.
Adele and Dolly Parton.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then I think I would have Ina Gartner so she could cook.
So she could cook, yeah.
Yeah, because she would be good at that.
Right, the Barefoot Contessa.
Yeah.
Whipping up some food.
Come on.
Okay. All right. Both sounds like pretty good parties.
Yeah, we would just, sit around, shoot the shit.
Yeah, right. See how that plays out, right?
Dolly Parton, maybe she'll sing. Maybe Adele will sing.
You never know, right? Cher would definitely be singing at mine.
For sure.
And Anne Murray, they would duet. They'd sing Snowbird.
Oh my God.
Right? The whole bit, right?
Yeah, maybe Dolly Parton and Adele could duet as well.
Yeah, right. It would just be wonderful, wouldn't it? Okay. So since we're kind of talking about singers, I came across this interesting article and it was about how long it takes people to write a song.
Okay.
So you would assume, right, that a lot of time goes into like that craft, right?
Tune, melody, lyrics.
The whole bit, right?
Yeah.
So before I offend anybody, right, I also assume that a lot of work would go into that. Uh-huh. Okay. Did you know that Sweet Child of Mine by Axl Rose took 5 minutes?
No.
5 minutes.
Sweet child of mine. Really?
Yeah. Ready for this one?
Okay, 5 minutes for the lyrics or 5
whole
minutes
song.
for like the notes and everything?
Well, I don't know about that. It just said it took him 5 minutes to write the song.
Interesting.
Yeah. Lady Gaga, Just Dance. Just it'll be all right. Da, da, da. That one, 10 minutes.
Just Dance.
Yeah, 10 minutes. Right?
Interesting. Okay.
Sia wrote Chandelier in 15 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Right?
All right.
That's pretty crazy, hey?
Well, I mean, but I don't know about Axl Rose. I didn't realize he wrote the song. But I'm not surprised that Gaga, Gigi, as she likes to be called.
Right there.
Gaga likes to... Oh my God. I can't talk now.
What was with you?
I'm not surprised. Those two ladies are really good, singer-songwriters.
Right.
Not surprised.
Right.
Little surprised at Axl Rose. Didn't know he had it in him.
Had it in him. The king of had it in him. That's what he is.
I didn't know that he could write a song, let alone put it all together.
Put it all together. 5 minutes, good to go. Right?
I'm sorry. Have you seen Axl Rose?
So you're judging his talent. So I got in trouble for saying something about potting, and you are judging the Axl Rose based on what he looks like. He's an 80s
heavy metal whatever dude. Come on.
You don't think it took time to write, take me down to the paradise city where the grass are green and the girls are pretty. Yeah, okay. Whatever. Right? I'm just saying.
I'm sure people who write songs immediately because all of a sudden it just the words, they come, they flow. And then
I'm sure there's some that don't.
Yeah.
I agree with that too.
Did you maybe ask Elton John how long it took to write some of his songs?
I sent him a message. He didn't get back to me.
I think that's really rude of him.
Right? Thanks, Elton. Right? Thanks.
Paradise, because that's now officially in my head. Paradise City.
Right? I know, right? And you gotta bang your head.
Yeah.
The fact that dude can hit those notes is crazy. Right? That's what I think. That's what I think, Samantha.
I don't know.
I'm just saying. I just thought it was interesting.
Okay. I'm just, I'm not poo-pooing Alex.
Don't poo-poo.
I'm not
Don't
poo-pooing Alex.
Axl.
What is wrong with me?
Oh my God. Are you drunk?
No, I'm not. Axl Rose. But I'm just saying, I'm a little surprised.
Well, that's fine. You could be surprised.
Because I
don't
thought
poo-poo.
It was all like drugs and rock and roll, sex, drugs and rock and roll during the 80s.
Well, maybe it just took him 5 minutes to get it all together.
Maybe he wrote it in between all.
Maybe, right? I don't know. Who knows? So crazy. So crazy. Right?
Oh, what the hell?
I know.
Okay, Lisa.
Samantha.
Very serious question.
Okay, I'm ready.
What if you checked your bank account and you found you had mistakenly been paid 300 times your normal salary? What would you do?
Call my boss and tell her.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So do you know this story stems from somebody who took the money and ran?
Shut.
Yes.
What? When did that happen?
It happened recently. I don't remember whereabouts. I don't know if it was in America or whereabouts it was. But it's a true story.
What?
And they took the money and ran. And it's like, boy, that's a lot of bad decisions in a quick, short amount of time.
That is a lot of bad decisions.
Bad decision number 1, right? You're probably losing your job. Bad decision number 2, you're probably going to get charged with something. Bad decision number 3, you're going to have to pay it back.
But they ran away. So how far do you think they ran away?
Well, at some point, I bet you it's all traceable, right? Like that person's probably using their credit cards, probably like, woohoo.
Or did they just maybe take all the money out of the bank and now it's just cash?
I don't know, right? What would you do? Would you keep it?
No, I would say something to somebody.
You'd have to, right?
Because it just seems odd.
It just seems odd that happens. But
technically, okay, but just think about this though. Technically, it did go into this person's bank.
It did.
So technically, that money is actually theirs because it's a paycheck.
Somebody said it's their paycheck.
Right?
Right.
So is it stealing their money when it's actually your money if it's a paycheck?
And
it's automatically deposited?
There'd be a part of me that would be like, I don't know. I just thought that it was a gift. I just thought you thought I was excellent and gave me extra money.
I already spent it.
Right? I already spent it. That's what I do on payday. I spend what's in my bank account.
Oh my God.
Right?
But I mean, like, I bet you that's what that person thought. What are they going to do to me? It's my money. It's in my bank account.
You gave it to me.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
You gave it to me.
You gave
Thanks
it
for the
to
money.
me. Thank you. You gave it to me. and now I'm in trouble. Now I'm the shithead.
What?
Right?
How did that happen?
How did I become the shithead? I didn't steal it. You gave it to me.
I just took it and went on vacation. I don't know what you're talking
I just woke up Friday morning like the next guy and checked my bank balance and thought, okay. And I withdrew it.
Right?
Right? You gave me the money. So it's kind of a little bit of a double-edged sword, right?
A little bit.
Like, yeah, you know that it's not yours, but you know what? It kind of is yours, actually.
It is kind of theirs. So,
right?
I don't know.
I would think that the person who made that mistake should be in a little bit of hot water too. Why are you giving him that much money?
Oh, for sure. They would probably be in a lot of hot water.
Like, you would think that there'd be some trouble.
You added a zero.
Yeah, you added 2 zeros to right? He makes $20 an hour, not $2,000 an hour. Right? I don't know. I would think somebody would be in trouble.
I think so too.
Yeah, right. I think so.
Okay, Lisa.
Yeah.
What's the worst salad you've ever had?
The worst salad? I don't think I've ever.
The worsted.
Well, I don't like that one with the feta. I hate that one.
There's a lot. Can you narrow that down, please?
Well, it's pretty much that one. I'll narrow it down to the one with the feta.
Okay, well, there's feta in a lot, so just narrow, like, is it Greek salad?
I don't like that one.
Is it a watermelon feta salad?
No, I don't like the one with the olives and the feta.
That's the Greek salad.
I don't like the Greek salad. That's my worst.
That's your worst.
That's my worst. What's your worst?
It has quinoa in it.
Your worst has quinoa?
Yeah, it was a salad that I made, and I thought it was good because I thought I liked quinoa, and then I decided I didn't because it tasted gross.
Why would you think you liked quinoa?
I don't know.
What is quinoa?
Oh, it's a grain, I think, or something. I don't know.
You just thought I just randomly like a grain?
No, I thought maybe it would kind of be like rice in a way, like a brown rice.
Were you trying to poop or something?
No.
Oh.
Why would you say that?
Because I'm trying to figure out what this grain is, why you needed to add this grain to your diet.
Because lots of people eat quinoa because apparently it's good for you and it's low in calories and all that other weird shit.
Oh, okay.
But I tasted it because I thought, oh, it'll be nice. It has cucumbers and tomatoes and feta and a nice sauce and dressing or whatever. And then I ate it and I hated it because I decided I hated quinoa because quinoa tastes like dirt.
I don't like quinoa. I don't know what it is, but I don't like it. All right.
I could tell you it tastes like dirt.
I don't want to eat anything that tastes like dirt.
It tastes like dirt.
Unless I'm 2 years old and I'm eating dirt.
Yes, and no.
And even then, I'm sure we didn't like dirt.
No, I'm pretty sure.
I think eating dirt came with a lot of crying.
With crying?
Crying. I'm sure when you were a kid, you ate dirt and then you cried because it was horrible.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. So, okay, 2 thumbs down on those 2 salads.
Yes.
Right.
I don't know. I like salad. I just...
I'm more driven by the dressing of the salad.
Yes, of course you are.
Right? I'm not really picky by what the lettuce type, what type of lettuce it is and that sort of stuff. I don't care.
You don't care what's in it, just what dressing you have.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of kale. I feel like kale should be growing in the ocean.
Kale is not growing in the ocean. That's seaweed.
I feel it's the same family.
That's seaweed.
I feel that kale is part of like the Great Barrier Reef.
It is.
And it looks like it is. It looks like it is, and that's enough for me. It's an ugly food.
God, the Great Barrier Reef. Really?
Kale is an ugly food and does not come into my existence.
Okay. All right.
I don't eat ugly food.
Thanks for sharing.
You're welcome. You're
welcome. So what I'm going to share with you right now, guys, is where you can find us on our social media. We have Facebook, so it's I Shake My Head with Lisa and Sam. If you haven't joined the group, join the group. We're fun. Fun. We have Instagram, and it's I Shake My Head. Pretty easy. Twitter is _shake my head. TikTok, same thing. _shake my head. We post daily on pretty much all of our content, except for maybe TikTok, but unless Lisa's on a bit of a roll.
But not daily. That's too much. Too much.
If you like what you hear, you can go to Patreon, which is patreon.com/I Shake My Head. For as little as $2 a month, you get the episode early, an extra episode a month, and you get no ads.
And the extra episode a month, it is coming.
Yes, it is.
We're sorry.
Yeah, we are. Just a reminder that you can get some I Shake My Head swag at Threadless, which is ishakemyhead.threadless.com. And Lisa, I have a suggestion.
What's your suggestion?
How about your morning mantra on some of our stuff?
Well, we can do that. I can get that on our stuff.
Who's a pretty girl?
Who's a pretty girl? I'm a pretty girl. Right? Who's a pretty girl? I'm a pretty girl. Yeah.
So why don't we put that on some of our
Sure we can.
Our swag.
Let's do that. We'll see what we can do. We'll see if the people want to be pretty girls. Who's a pretty girl? I'm a pretty girl.
There you go. Hi, friends of the podcast. We have a special guest today. We have Caitlin Green. She is on air at Chum 104.5 with the morning show, and she is the official sidekick of the Jan Arden podcast. Hey, Caitlin, thanks for coming in and hanging out with us today.
Thank you so much. This is great. I'm very excited to talk to you guys in person.
So cool.
Kind of, yeah.
I have a question for you before I'm already breaking into what we were going to even talk. Your Chum 104.5. It's funny. A million years ago, I had a friend, Janie Oliver, and she did something with Chum. You know how you always have to have that question. Hey, do you know her?
I don't. I feel like the history of Chum is so long.
Yeah, it would have been probably would have been like 25 years ago now.
Yeah. So even though I've been with the morning show for such a long time, like I've been there for 12 years almost, which is a crazy thing to even say out loud. Morning show people live in our own weird bubble of hours. And so we rarely cross paths with a lot of other people. Right. And also Chum has been around in Toronto for so long. That like so many times people hear Chum, they're like, oh my God, this. And I'm like, I don't know that part of it.
That's so funny. I grew up in outside of Toronto, so I'm well versed on the Chum FM. It was always a little bit better than the Chum AM, right? Growing up, because nobody wanted to admit that they liked Chum AM. Nobody wanted to admit that they liked AM when you were growing up, right? So it was always like FM was the way to go, and it was always Chum was the cool one.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was I think 1050 now. Yeah, it's TSN 1050 now. And that's when I realized too that there's such a long history of radio. And most of my radio history lessons came from working with Marilyn and Roger. And because I didn't even go to school for radio. So some people obviously went to school for broadcasting and that's kind of their background. And I didn't. And I just stumbled into this job and then didn't leave.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I feel bad too. Like sometimes students will talk to me, they'll reach out and say like, oh, what advice do you have? And like, what program did you take? And they all hear the same thing, like go start in a smaller market and then work your way up to, major market radio. Yeah. And I'm like, no, I just started with Roger and Marilyn, which is not normal at all.
Yeah. You started at the top, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Are you still with Marilyn? It's Marilyn and Jamar now, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
You're still with them?
Still with them. So like my feature, I would say I'm like the untitled third of the show pretty well. So I'm on most breaks, but then my segment is like called What's Trending with Caitlin Green. And so that happens every hour during our show. And it's like a mix of every trending topic. So it can be news, entertainment, lifestyle, like TikTok challenges, just it's a catch-all kind of it's a way for us to talk about what's really happening on the internet.
That's cool.
That's really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I follow Meredith Shaw, and I didn't realize that she had radio until I started following her on Instagram. And I'm like, is everybody in Toronto on the radio? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, Meredith and I are actually great friends. So Meredith is our afternoon drive host, and she started like with like at Bell Media. She started in radio, but of course she's this like fantastic curvy model, and then that kind of turned into a bunch of other amazing projects. And now you'll see her doing fashion segments for Marilyn, and she guest co-hosts on The Social. And when Marilyn goes on vacation on Chum, then Meredith comes into the morning show, and then like that's how her and I spent more and more time together, and she's the best.
Okay, that's cool. I think that's so awesome. Okay, so I bet you've had a ton of fantastic guests on your show. What are some of the standout ones for you? Who stands out the most?
With Jan, I would say definitely Rick Mercer's up there.
Oh.
Yeah,
funny guy. I love him.
Yeah, Rick Mercer's so great, and I'm a comedy nerd, so I just was very excited to hear him talk about anything. Mm-hmm. And guests are never quite what you expect. And then with him, I was like, oh, you're just hilarious and affable and like charming and very Canadian. So he was a real treat. Sarah McLachlan was much the same way. So when she was on the podcast with us, again, I'm waiting to see like maybe she'll be really different than I anticipate. No, she was like talking about how she was going to go like swimming in the stream later, and like I was like, this is exactly what I want Sarah McLachlan to be doing.
Yeah, exactly right.
So she was great. She was super sweet, and like across the board, I will say, and like again, like even on Chum, we have huge guests come in, and the bigger the guest, typically, like the nicer they are.
That's amazing, right?
That's cool.
Yeah. Smaller guests, like honestly can't even remember their names. Like these would be people who are on like home renovation shows and like Love It or Dump It or Burn It or whatever they're called. And they're terrible. They're like, send a car for me, and like,
wow, go get thinking me. They're all that, and
I'm like, you're on Canadian radio. We're not doing that.
Right?
Yeah.
Isn't that so funny? And that's funny how you say that, because that's exactly as Canadian what we think, right? Like, come on, guys, right?
Yeah.
Even the biggest Canadian star, we're still like, come on, we're just Canadians, right?
100%.
Yeah.
So I think they get sometimes, a little carried away. I'm trying to remember who else has been. Michael Cera was a standout guest for Chum. He was fabulous. He was surprising. He was a rare celebrity who showed up with no one with him. I mean, not a single handler. He showed up by himself to our security wearing a bright orange construction toque. And when I offered that, our intern or someone would go get him coffee, he was very, no, don't bother. And I said, okay, well, I'm just going to go grab you one because it's so early. And also in my mind, I'm thinking like, we need to caffeinate all of our guests before they come on the show.
Definitely.
And he like followed me to the office coffee maker and like was like wanted to see how it worked. And I was like, this is the world's most disgusting coffee maker ever. You're literally getting like caffeinated slime. And he was totally fine with it. He was lovely. They're all lovely. Shania Twain, lovely. Like they're all just great.
You guys had Anne Murray, who's like my very, very most favorite person in the whole wide world on the podcast too, right?
Yes, and doesn't do a lot of interviews.
No. Oddly enough, she has never, ever, ever replied to one of my tweets as far as coming on the show. Unlike yourself, thank you.
She's probably not going to.
I feel like she's not going to. When was it? Was it last year for my birthday? Sam bought me this thing when Anne Murray was doing like a question and answer from her place in Spring Hill, and you phoned, and there was like 100 of us, right? You called in, and everybody was allowed to ask a question, and Anne they would randomly pick a question, and my question got picked, and my question was, of course, are you interested in doing a podcast? And her reply was, I am so retired, I'm interested in doing nothing. I'm like, yeah, fair enough, right?
Yeah,
right? I had to throw it out there. I had to ask.
You have to shoot your shot.
Got you, right?
She's great. She was really, really giving with her time and like warm, and it's her connection with Jan, right? That's the other thing too. I get asked a lot from other people who work on podcasts. Oh, well, how do you get guests and stuff? And some of the guests they're not as familiar with Jan as others. And they are more interested in just promoting something or telling their story. But I'm like, it's Jan Arden. Like everyone wants to talk to her.
Yeah. We were really enough, Jan came on to our podcast probably 2.5 or 3 years ago now. It was just right at the height of the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And of course, she was like one of the ones that, good old me had been like accosting over the years. And finally, it's like, I think we caught her and it's like, come on, the pandemic's on. I know you're not going anywhere. You must have a few minutes. And it literally was, she was like, you win, you guys. You get me down, you win.
Well, she also is a rare celebrity where if you're nice, like she interacts with people and you can see it on her socials and on her Twitter. And she does really get a lot from engaging with people. She's like one of those personality types that kind of almost definitely recharges at home, but takes a lot from connecting with others. Right. And that was something nice that I thought it's very classy. And I think Rick Mercer told a story on his recent podcast visit with us about going and visiting someone in the hospital because a fan had approached him and said, I think it was a family member who was a really big fan, and he wound up going. And I think he'd done that a few times since. Yeah. And that's emotional, it's like depleting, but he really made an effort to go do it. And I think that's a great quality. And when I think about the people who are like, like Michael Cera, Shania Twain, Anne Marie, it's a very Canadian thing. Even like Ryan Reynolds, he like actually reposts and retweets things. Yeah. So I always think that's a kind of a nice attitude to have if you work in media in Canada.
Yeah, it's amazing that they do it, right?
Mm-hmm. I was just listening to the last podcast that you were on with Jan, and she was saying that she had a scary experience coming home from her last show. Mm-hmm. And someone was following her or something like that.
Yeah, and probably just a harmless, nice fan, but still, yeah.
Yeah, like there are so that's why I think maybe as an artist, as somebody who's famous, it's kind of hard to balance, right? Like the two, like how much do you give? Scary. How much do you not so that people don't feel like, oh, she doesn't talk to anybody or he doesn't do that. And
it's like this. And it's like a combination of you want to be giving and appreciative towards your fans, but then there are obviously going to be the rare cases where they feel entitled to your personal space or time.
Yeah.
And I think social media has changed access a lot, whereas before you had to write a letter and writing it to the radio station and hoping that it gets delivered. And now you can just message someone. And then there was the horrible feature of now it tells people when you've seen it, which I hate.
Oh, yeah.
I wish that
right.
Just let me ignore people in a polite way.
Exactly. Right. And then at least if you can ignore people politely, then it's kind of, everybody wins because it's like, I'm sure that they've seen it.
Yeah.
She was just too busy to get back to me. I get that.
Yeah. And which is fair. But then the seen it is there and you're like, damn it, now I have to say something and it's still going to probably be no. So I think that the access thing has changed, and it's also changed, again, people's sense of entitlement to a public figure. And even if you're fame adjacent, which like I work with Marilyn and I worked with Roger and now
you're
Jan.
Definitely right.
Yeah. So you're around it, but it's not really you, but you're around it enough that you see it and you see that some people are great and they're classy. And it's just the way humans are, and they get it and they don't overstep. And then some people, either because they're so excited or they're just weird and they really overstep. And I don't think they know how they're acting. And I've seen that happen too. And you're like, that's not the best look.
Yeah. Right?
It's not how you want to present. You know how you want to present, Sam? Remember years ago, it's funny, Caitlin, I'll share this quick story with you. Oprah came to Saskatoon. Remember, she was doing all her tours.
Oh, yes.
Oprah came to Saskatoon, and we, of course, wanted to see, we found out where Oprah was staying and the whole bit. And the best thing about it was that, nobody cared that Oprah came to Saskatoon except Lisa.
Nobody cared.
There was literally me and Sam.
Nobody cared.
And like her bodyguard came out and he was like, everybody back up. And Sam and I were like, hey, hi.
We're looking at each other like there's 4 other people here.
And even Oprah says to the guy, I think it's okay. And I'm like, that's so Saskatchewan, right? Is that it was cold out. Nobody was braving the weather. It's like, and then you hear that she's in other parts of Canada and she's being swarmed. And we're just like, hey,
oh my God.
Hey, right? Have a good show, Oprah. She's like, thanks.
Toronto was wild. Yeah. I mean, it was an event. It was a crazy event, which is what you would expect for Oprah Winfrey. Yeah. But I do think that's the other element too with the Canadian stuff where you can't get too big for your britches in Canada. It's just not possible because eventually you're going to hit a whole chunk of people who are like, I really don't care about you. And you're like, yeah, that is also very fair and accurate.
Yeah, that is so funny.
Oddly enough, Lisa and I have never had that problem getting recognized or
we're
crazy
not,
fans or anything like that.
Crazy fans or anything like that.
I'm not saying I do. I do not. I get recognized by my voice sometimes, like pretty rarely. And I think because I'm not at the moment like a face of a show, like I'm not on billboards, I think still that doesn't really happen. The only time like people will be like, oh my God, it's Caitlin. Like if I'm with Meredith or if I'm with Marilyn or if I'm with Jamar or if I'm with Jan, but then mostly it's the voice. And I think that's also because I haven't, maybe to my own detriment professionally, I haven't been a shameless self-promoter on social yet, which I might have to come to terms with doing in the next few years. But so people don't recognize you as much because I think radio is that great medium of like, you don't have to, you're not seen all the time.
Yeah, but you have like you have a great voice. Like your voice is very like really good for what you do.
Yeah, thank you. It's funny because I was told to go to voice lessons by our PD when I first started back. I think my voice sounded different and arguably worse, and he was definitely correct in telling me to go to voice classes. But yeah, it's just funny. I never liked it, and I always thought it was monotone. And I was like I was the standout alto girl in the choir growing up, and I didn't like it at all. And now I'm like, okay, I guess it secretly has worked.
So now you got that's like put that in your back pocket, right?
Yeah.
That's too funny.
I would listen to you if you were on audio tape.
Oh, thank you. I would.
You should do audiobooks. I would totally listen to you.
Well, the other thing that's funny is I haven't also pushed myself, much like I haven't pushed myself on social, into voice work. And I've had a few friends who work obviously in voice work say, why don't you get a voice agent? And I'm like, I don't even know where to begin. And then I just get lazy and watch Real Housewives and I don't do it.
But you're on holidays. That's different.
That's right. I am on holidays. So I have a reason. But I think it's also the morning show hours are so tiring. Like when you're up at 4:30, it's hard to find brain space to do other things. But I should do it. It's great. And it's one of those situations where I'm like, every time I see an actor or an actress, and we had Will Arnett on the Chum Morning Show, and he was on to promote the Lego movie. And that is someone where when he talks, that voice, you just are like, this is a God-given gift. Like, this is crazy that you sound like this. And he was making really good money before he even got into acting, just doing voice work, as you can imagine. And I would anticipate he still does. But he was talking about being in the Lego movie. And I just thought, that's the best gig you could ever get. Would be a very successful animated voice person, because no one has to see you. You make a ton of money, and you can do it for a long time because there isn't the ageism that's associated with being seen on TV or in movies. So these great voice actors, like I think of like Sam Elliott, you're like, that guy can do this until the wheels fall off because it doesn't matter that no one. And I even think of like like Roger Ashby, like when he was on our morning show for so many years, this just worked for him because he had that perfect voice and he was so comforting and interesting to listen to. And you're not being judged like you are on TV or on camera, really.
Yeah. That's true. I saw yesterday they showed a clip and it was The Rock and Kevin Hart, and they must be doing a new cartoon of some sort. And it looked like so much fun. Like it looks like those voice actors have so much fun with what they do.
Yeah, it's great. And it just seems like such a cushy job. If you've ever been in a recording studio, like I have a few times where they do voice work, and it's all your best snacks that you want. Nice. Everyone's there waiting for you. It's like the temperature in the studio is perfect. It's very, very cushy.
That's awesome. That'd be so fun. That would be so fun.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Have there ever been any memorable moments in your career like that really stick out, like achievements or, just, when you landed something? And it's like all the stuff with Chum is like all a big mix together, where it's like getting your own segment with your name on it, like huge deal. Getting the job in the first place, great. Being more and more on air, like but everything has been really, like, I guess gradual, I would say. It's never been, this like stamp of like, now this has happened and now this has happened. It's like, it's a composite. So it's hard to say, but I mean, just being on the air with Roger and Marilyn it was huge. And then all of a sudden finding yourself doing it every day was a really big deal.
Sure.
And then when I started working with Jan was very exciting. And then when I started working with Jan in an on-air capacity, also very cool. Yeah. So I think that it's all these like little steps that kind of like equals a big build. But yeah, I mean, getting the job at Chum completely changed the trajectory of my professional life, because previous to this, I thought I wanted to make documentaries. So,
really?
Yeah. So that's what I went to school for.
Yeah, you went to Sheridan College, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I thought I was going to make these like hard-hitting documentaries, and then I realized that there's no money there in Canada.
Right.
Not that should matter. Like, that's not why. Obviously, people who are really passionate.
Bills, let's be honest. You got to pay the bills.
I mean, I like to travel. I like certain things, and I just felt like it was hitting a wall. And an idea that I had, and a story that I had been working on, like a focal point, was completely derailed by the subject, no longer participating at kind of the 11th hour. Right. And it just really bummed me out, because it was just a great true crime angle before true crime was even as big as it is now. Yeah. And I was like, this is really going to kill it. But ultimately it's their story to tell. So they just decided not to do it. But I was very put off by that. And radio was the one area of media that I hadn't really worked in yet. And so I just thought I'd give it a shot, and a mat leave opened up, and I wound up just sticking around because the mat leave didn't return. And then it turned into an on-air job. And now I'm like, how did I ever do anything else?
Right. And podcasting, I would imagine, would just be a natural fit for all of that too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, podcasting was. And it's also, it depends on who you're working with. I would love to do a bunch of other podcasts as well. I just haven't figured out how to build that out quite yet. Yeah. It's still such a busy space, you know, there's so many. So you really have to figure out like where you're going to go with it. And if
you're going to do true crime, boy, you're going to have to put yourself out there on the social media.
Well, and you have to have a really big story that people want to know more about week after week. And I think a lot of the podcasts that are really successful are, you know, like what you guys do and what we do with Jan, like it's just serial. It happens every single week, and you give people something to tune into every week, and then they're just eventually going to come back. Exactly. And I'm interested in more of that style, I think, ultimately now. But podcasting was such a good fit after doing radio. And the thing with morning radio is you really only have like 3 to 5 minutes to talk about something, which I can definitely do, but a longer form conversation right now, I think especially, is kind of what people want.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I think to your point, and like with the Jan podcast too, is I think that people want just some lightheartedness in the world, right? Mm-hmm. And that's the thing with us too, right? I mean, we are not inventing the wheel. We're not teaching you anything. We're just two ridiculous people that just have some fun and like to laugh at the mundane things in the world, right?
Yeah. You know? That's the positive feedback we have been getting. It's the ability to talk about topics that people are talking about, but you don't live there. You know, you should be able to touch on it and let people know, like, I have a head on my shoulders. I care about things. I'm empathetic and I know what's going on with the world, but I don't necessarily, like, my personality type is not really very finger waggy, at least not to your average listener.
Right. Exactly. Right?
I definitely have a firm finger pointed at people who make actual decisions in leadership, but I don't like that element of social media or of media in general. So it's more fun for us, and we just like talk about stuff, and you find people who you
want people to know that you care about the world, right? It was like with all the stuff going on lately, it's like us, right? Like, of course we're going to touch on Roe versus Wade, but we can't stay there for long, because that's not our podcast, right?
Yeah. And also
we don't want the world to think that we don't care, because of course we care.
Yeah, you want to you sometimes now it's like if you don't say anything at all, then it does cause people to raise an eyebrow. Yeah. So you want them to know, like, I do pay attention to this and I care about important issues that affect humanity. But at the same time, I'm not the expert. Exactly. And some people fall into this category of like, they're like, oh, I'm really going to be the expert on everything. And you're like,
no, we certainly don't. Hey, Sam.
Nope, we don't. I can guarantee that.
Yeah, we guarantee. My husband, he listens and he'll say to me, sometimes he'll be like, you need to fact check sometimes. I'm like, actually, we don't, because we don't claim to teach people anything. So I'm not fact checking. Nope.
That's the disclaimer in the show notes. Right. We teach you nothing. Don't expect us to be right. We don't. Yeah. And then people constantly tell us, like, that's not what a turtle does, or that's not, and it's like, thank you for sharing. Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
And that was another funny thing, that when I started doing the trending segment on Chum, I was reporting on kind of like what was happening, but I was being like inundated with people being like, "You're reporting this or that." I was like, "Oh, but I'm not a reporter."
That's right.
I don't like being wrong as a part of my personality. Like in terms of, I don't like getting something wrong. I shouldn't say that. I'm all good to be wrong myself personally, but I do a lot of research, and I do try to read a lot, and I do read a lot. I'm naturally interested in current events and what's happening with the world, but I did find that to be a funny little thing that people pushed. Just the second you have a microphone, everyone's like, actually, I'm like, no, but wait. Not everybody who has a microphone is saying that they have all the answers, because that would be a really dangerous precedent to set.
So would be right.
Yeah. And like with our podcast too, you have to be really careful too when you're talking about certain topics, to say like, this is just what we've read. This is just what other experts who are the actual experts are saying. And if you have an issue with that piece of information, then you're going to unfortunately have to take it up with, Dr. Fauci.
Exactly. We had somebody who was a listener to our podcast who went to great lengths to let me know during the pandemic that she was not going to listen anymore because she was tired of hearing me talk about how I needed to get a haircut and couldn't because of the pandemic. And I'm like, hey, well, guess what? That's what's important in my life right now. Other than dying from the pandemic, it's the fact that a short hair haircut girl can't get a haircut. So
that would have been annoying, genuinely.
It was it was like the worst. And every week, right? And then it just becomes a fun. Like to me, I'm like, okay, another week without a haircut, still blah blah blah. And this girl was like, I can't handle this anymore. It's like, okay.
You're like, it's also kind of a bit. Like, I hope you don't think that this is actually
right.
Like
I'm really not losing sleep over not getting a haircut. It's like Sam and I did this last summer. We did this thing about Crocs, right? Like the shoe, and boy, people were like up in arms. Like, don't judge them before you wear them. I'm going to judge them anyways, guys.
And you're like, again, this is a bit. It's entertainment.
It's a bit,
that part of it I don't like, because you're like, what a boring world / piece of content we'd all be putting out if we were like, I've decided that Crocs are fine if you like them and also fine if you don't. That's the most boring sentence you could ever come up with.
Right? And it's like, come on. Sometimes you always find there's some people and they're just like, they're not getting it. Like,
And like, I just think people don't understand that sometimes having a take, even if you don't really care about it, is part of your job, because you're creating interest and creating a conversation. And especially if you're on a multi-person show, if you just all agreed, or if you all just played it safe and didn't say anything, you'd have no ratings. Nobody would listen to you.
It wouldn't be very good. It wouldn't be very interesting to listen to. That's for sure.
That's another funny thing that does come up sometimes, where people really get like, pick a pointless thing like you cutting your hair in Crocs, and everyone's like, I don't like this, and you're like, that's not for you. Go away.
Right? Exactly. Right? Because you don't have to listen. Right? The chances are we're just poking some fun at it.
Yeah, you're like, okay, let me just rush to give you your refund. Oh, wait.
Right? Like, if you happen to be the person who's listening who loves Crocs, I'm really not trying to rock your world and insult you. We're just having some fun with the topic.
Totally.
Too funny.
Oh, okay. So we have, are you up for a silly game, Caitlin?
Mm-hmm.
Are you up? Okay. We have a silly game we play with all of our guests. I have no idea why we started this. So this is what we're doing. It's called This or That.
Okay, great.
Okay. All right. It's really quick.
Yep.
All right. So bad haircut or bad dye job?
Oh, haircut for sure.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. Dye jobs live forever in the DNA of your hair. They take so long. Oh my God. The dye jobs that I've had happen, I can't. My hair will grow faster than it will outrun the dye.
So you would take a bad haircut.
Yeah. And I've had them and they've been like not great, but the bad dye jobs I've had, it's so expensive. It's so many hours. It wrecks the texture of your hair. I just am like, no, forget it. The pain is too much.
Oh, yeah. That's just a question I can't do either, actually, to be honest, right? I can't. I wouldn't cope well with either of them. No.
I have never coped well with either of them either.
No,
so.
Right?
Okay, phone in the bathroom or no phone in the bathroom?
Ooh, tough one. Mostly no phone, I would say, as a general rule. Like it just feels weird. But also too, I will say that I am a self-admitted bathroom ninja. So I'm like, it's a 30-second in and out visit. So yeah, not a problem that comes up for me super often.
Right? I think some people are like big, like go into the bathroom and take their phones, and I'm like, I think more people should be like the bathroom ninja.
Well, and I also think a lot of my friends who have like kids, that's their alone time. And
okay. So then I guess I don't have kids, neither does Sam. So that's a different way to look at it, right? I never thought about that.
Yeah. Okay. So they go in there and they're like, this is my time where you can yell at me through the door, but I'm not coming out. And so then they bring, like, I know people who will bring an iPad in there, and I just feel, that you do you. If you need that time.
You do you. Whatever works.
Oh my God. Okay. Funny story or one-liner?
Funny story, I think, because the majority of one-liners I feel like someone prefaces as being entertaining to me are hit and miss.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get a little more room to breathe with a funny story.
Yeah. And I think sometimes with the one-liner, sometimes it's sometimes like like one of those like backhanded slaps, right?
Yeah. I have faked a laugh at more one-liners than I have stories.
Yeah. I agree.
Okay. Cooking or being cooked for?
Oh, definitely being cooked for. I used to be cooking. And then during the pandemic, we discovered that my husband is a much better cook than I am. And and he likes it more and is just better at it. And now I'm like, yes, this is an incredible discovery.
So were you a good cook at one time?
I thought I was, and then he made food that I was making, and I was like, "Wait, I stunk."
Interesting. So I'm not a good cook. I love cooking. I don't like to cook. In my mind, I think I'm a good cook. But I know that I know totally my cooking tastes just like necessity only. Right?
Yeah.
It's only because you got to eat it, and it's always overdone. I'll never kill you with my cooking. Like, you're never going to get food poisoning because it'll always be overcooked. But I want to be a good cook so bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, I love Ina Garten and I revere cooking, and I love eating, and I love basing an entire trip around food. Yeah. But just from the second that my husband picked up a knife, it was like all of his carrots and onions and celery were uniformly chopped.
Wow.
And mine looked like Stevie Wonder cut them. And I was like, this is not, how is this happening to me? You're showing me up.
And he didn't even know he had the skill.
No, he's just patient. And like, he's just, he's just a patient person. And I think that pays off in the kitchen.
Okay. I got a question though. Did he do the sourdough thing over the pandemic years?
No, he did not.
Did he
He's not interested in baking. He doesn't have a lot of time for baking. So I now bake. Like, I'll be the baker, and it works because I have the world's biggest carb tooth. Like, if you have a sweet tooth, I'm a carb person. And so he does cooking, and then I'll do baking.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. Yeah. So that works then. That works.
Yeah. All right. This might be a hard one. Reality shows or documentaries?
Oh, no.
I know. Now that we've learned more about you.
It used to be documentaries, and now I can't pretend. I want to say documentaries and be like, oh, I'm all smart, and it's reality. Like, it's a reality TV show for me. It used to be definitely documentaries. I would go to Hot Docs. I would watch every single nominated documentary. Yeah. And now I still watch them, but I think reality TV show poisoned my brain, and I am just admitted huge fanatic of it. So it is reality.
I don't watch the Housewives, but I watch the Below Deck series. Have you watched those?
So I don't watch either of those.
So that everyone knows, Below Deck was my introduction drug, I would say. Like, I had like watched other reality shows, but I was never like into them. And then my husband and I got into Below Deck. And for anyone listening who has a husband and they're kind of poo-pooing your reality addiction, I would say that Below Deck is the gateway drug for husbands into reality TV.
Right.
And then he wound up getting into Real Housewives of New York. And now I watch all the Housewives, and we watch Summer House. It's a real problem.
Oh, you watch Summer House too? Mm-hmm. I love that.
Yeah, I'm not a Kardashian person. They're not like, I find them too scripted, but yeah, no, those three, all the Below Decks, all the Housewives, and Summer House.
Wow.
Okay. All right. There's this weird new reality show on Netflix that I started watching, and I'm like, I can't, but it's about, did they call them sunflowers? It's about kids who are like adults now, but live at home and are totally like I don't do anything and I don't have to do anything. And their parents send them to this like wilderness thing and you watch them fail epically.
Well, that's kind of funny.
That sounds good, actually.
Yeah, I just discovered it on Netflix, just in case you wanted to add another thing to your profile.
It's funny, the dating shows I never really got that into. I enjoyed one season and one season only of Love Island in the UK, and then after that I couldn't deal with it. So I haven't gotten into a lot of actual other reality TV shows. I'm a real Bravo only person. I'm not opposed to the other ones, they just haven't hit me the same way, I guess. Right. Like when Love is Blind came out, and also too, like, because I worked in television production beforehand, the production value on some of these shows is terrible.
You know the difference.
I was like, I can't do this lighting. Like, I need Bravo level production, or I don't want it.
Okay. Messy desk or clean desk?
Clean everything, always. Very, very clean. If I flipped this camera around and you saw my place, you would wonder if someone lives here, because yeah, it's very, very clean. I need it. I can't exist with a messy space. I've been like this since I was a child.
Good for you. In my home, I'm very neat. My office, which is behind me, I have stock from my gift shop, and I'm not so neat on parts of it.
But you have no choice, because you're the stock room.
Right. It's a little bit of a stock room, right? Yeah. So you can only do so much with that.
Yeah.
But on my desk, I always have I'm like, and it's a pile. I'm going to work on this pile today. Everything's in piles. I'm that girl.
Oh God.
Yeah, I know.
I remember that.
Right.
Okay. Sleeping with the bedroom door open or closed?
Oh, definitely closed.
Really? Every night? Really? Like totally closed.
Yep. Every night. If it's open, if one of us leaves it open, the other one's like, what is happening? Yeah, no, very set.
I'm totally like door not wide open, but like I open a crack.
It doesn't light come in, then I'm just paying attention to the light. So I'm like, I can't.
I don't know. I feel I need that light. No. I feel I feel in my mind, I'm thinking that if I close the door, like what happens if somebody comes and tries to steal me? Then I'm not even going to see them coming. Right?
No, I like a closed door and white noise machine on, and freezing cold and pitch black.
I like freezing cold with a fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, toilet paper over or under?
Come on.
Over. And if I come to your house and it's under, I'm switching it.
Mine, I'm like the only person that I know that's under. We are under people.
Mm-hmm. Well, if I ever came over, you'd be like, hey, wait a minute. All the toilet paper is changed. And I will go to every bathroom in your house and change it.
Really?
It will make me crazy.
Oh, that's good.
That's so funny.
I just did this at someone's house when I don't know. I don't know where I was. I was at a friend's house for dinner on Sunday. And I remember getting into the bathroom and being like, come on. And like, I flipped it. I took it off and flipped it.
I don't understand over. I've tried. I don't understand over.
You need and the little triangle fold. Like that's my favorite thing.
Yeah,
I'm
see that.
All that trouble. No, that's too much work.
All right, sweat profusely or have a dry mouth.
So I guess sweat profusely. Dry mouth, just as a result of my job, would not be an option.
No.
And dry mouth just would drive me right around the bend.
Oh yeah, like I'm not like you enjoy sweating, but of the two,
yeah. Like it's not like that's a trick question there, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I have a couple more questions for you.
Sure.
If you were a show on, do you still have a couple minutes?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. If you were a show on Netflix, what would you be?
Oh, like an existing show that already is there?
No, like if we were to like film a show about Caitlin, what would it be? What kind of show would it be?
It would, now that I'm thinking about it, it would probably be like a reality show about life in like media, I guess, probably.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I've thought about why that doesn't exist. Not around me, obviously. I'm not an egomaniac, but I mean, why Canada doesn't have more Canadian reality TV shows. Mm-hmm. So I would guess, it would be a reality TV show about like life in media and being sleep deprived and, like working on a podcast and working on a morning show and just like all the hilarious stuff that happens. And I have a very funny, engaging group of friends, and I would mostly just want to force them to be on the show for my own sick pleasure. So, And my husband hates being on camera more than anyone in the world. We did one segment once together for Marilyn's TV show where we were looking for a house. Yeah. And all of our friends had a viewing party of it because he was so uncomfortable. So I would really like to make him uncomfortable on a more frequent basis. Yeah.
So you're a little sadistic. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I like an uncomfortable laugh.
That's awesome.
Oh my God. Okay.
That's awesome. If you were going to live on a desert island, but could only take one thing with you, what would it be?
I guess it would be a flare.
Oh, okay. Because you want to get off the island?
Practical?
Yeah, I'm going to go with whatever is going to get me the hell out of here faster. Like I would have picked, I mean, can I say a boat? Like, I don't know.
You can say whatever, right? Yeah, and a boat just happens to float on by. That's your go-to.
Yeah.
Right. So no interest in like becoming like Gilligan's Island and being
absolutely
the skipper.
Not. People who are like, I pick a knife. I'm like, what are you doing with that? Are you killing yourself with it? Because there's no way you know how to use that knife well enough to survive.
Exactly, right? Like I don't know how to I don't know how to get a coconut. I don't know how to make a hut. I don't know how to do any. I'm going to just lie in the sun and die.
Yes. So you just whatever you can bring with you is the best chance you have at getting off of the island quickly, or you're waiting to be eaten.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. I mean, that's just brilliant. So yes, I'll take Caitlin with me.
I will take Caitlin. I'm going to take Caitlin too.
She will have the flare or a boat.
Yeah.
I think Caitlin just became like the automatic like phone a friend. Like if you're ever like stuck for something, okay, you have one call. It better be Caitlin because I think she knows a little bit of everything.
I think you would be good if we ever got on a show where we needed to know stuff like Millionaire or like Jeopardy. Maybe do they do a phone a friend on Jeopardy? No, they don't.
But what about that one that I watched last night that I'm really, really good at? Don't forget the lyrics, right? If you need help, you get to phone a friend, right?
Yeah, I do know song lyrics again because radio. But yeah, I have a lot of useless knowledge that just sort of sits around. So there you go.
That's the best knowledge.
Oh my God, Caitlin, you became our phone a friend. I don't know.
Official phone a friend of the I Shake My Head with Lisa and Sam podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, one last question.
Okay.
What would be the theme song of your life, speaking of music?
Oh, this is so hard. I love music so much.
It's so hard.
Oh, man. Okay, well, I should pick something by Rihanna because I'm obsessed with her and love her so much. But I really would want it to be, I think, the song That's Life by Frank Sinatra. Because I'm not kidding. That song single-handedly got me through the first lockdown.
Really?
Yeah. It was like a perfect combination. I love Frank Sinatra and I love the idea of somehow getting a return to like the 1940s supper club. We've talked about it on the Jan podcast before. But I love the idea of people dressing up to go for dinner. You have valet. You have the little booth with the tiny lamp in the middle. There's like a band performs. All that stuff. So I like that. And so my husband and I rewatched Mad Men from the very start. And we got into like cocktails and we just really lost our minds during the first lockdown. And that song, I just loved it. It got me through a lot of things. There's a lot of humor in it. It's really darkly funny. So yeah, I would pick That's Life by Frank Sinatra.
That's awesome. That's cool.
Really, you're so smart, Caitlin.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Right now, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna listen to it and be like,
because mine is not that smart. Mine's like from Rihanna. Bitch, you gotta have my money. Bitch, you got my money. Like that's sad, right? So
I like that one by Chumbawamba. I get knocked down, but I get up again.
Tub Thumper.
Right? Yeah. Yes, Tub Thumper. I like that one.
An epic one-hit wonder, just never to be heard from again. Which is funny when you have a name like Chumbawamba. You're like, well, yep, one off, and that's it.
Chances are, I love now that you just said one-hit wonders. I love one-hit wonders. I think that they're just the best thing of all times, right? Because they do exactly what they're supposed to do, and then when you hear them. So, for example, on last weekend we were out and they were playing like 80s music, and it was just like, what was it, Sam? It was Wilson Phillips. Hold on for one.
Oh my God, yeah.
And you would have thought that here we were all in concert, like it was like 25 years ago. Like, and the craziest thing, how you just remember every single song and every lyric of it, and
people love them. It's like Vanessa Carlton's 1,000 Miles, making my way downtown, that song. Think of like Lou Bega. I mean,
Right?
That guy just did Mambo number 5, and I was like, "See you later." And
see you later, right? See you later. That's so good. It's
so weird. His name is David Lubega, and he's from like Germany. He's from, and not even like edgy Berlin. He's from like outside. I was like, this guy should have been in a very different band than
that's right.
Number 5.
Yeah.
That's my one-hit wonder knowledge.
I think that those people deserve so much more credit than what they get, those one-hit wonder people.
Agreed. No one has no one has hits. Like, what are we talking about? Having one is pretty dang good.
Yeah, and then one that like people can hear forever and be like, "Oh my god, that was the best song!" Like Taco putting on the Ritz, that was the weirdest, craziest song in like 1982 or whenever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we are we're dating ourselves now with our 80s knowledge.
I know, we are,
right?
For sure. Yeah. That was fun.
Yes, thank you so much, Caitlin, for coming on our crazy little podcast and spending your time with us. We really appreciate it.
I love crazy little podcasts, so thank you for inviting me.
Thank you.
Where can listeners find you?
You can find me weekday mornings on Chum 104.5, and you can listen to that on iHeartRadio if you aren't obviously in the GTA or Southern Ontario. And then the Jan Arden podcast, I'm on every single week with Jan, anywhere you listen to podcasts. But again, I do want to give a special shout out to iHeartRadio.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on our show. We had so much fun.
Thank you for having me.
I hope you want to come back.
Yeah, you guys just reach out any old time. And I wish you the best on your journey to connect with Anne Murray, but I don't feel good about it.
You know what? As a diehard fan, I'm going to keep my distance respectfully, but in my heart, I will always believe that if she had one last podcast or one last interview to do, I know for a fact it would be us.
Okay,
like,
great.
I know she'd be like, "Hey, there's that crazy girl in Saskatoon," and it'd be like, "Yep, that would be us."
You hold on to that. That might be all you have.
I feel it probably is all, and I have a Christmas ornament that I bought at one of her shows. So I do feel those are my two connections to her.
Oh my god!
Awesome.
Okay, well, thank you both
so much. Okay.
Awesome. What a great interview with Caitlin, Lisa. Oh my God, she was so much fun.
That was so fun. Hey, she's hilarious.
She is hilarious.
I'm so glad we have a new friend.
Well, she's our phoner friend now.
She's the official phoner friend of the podcast.
I really, really hope that she comes back.
I know. I hope so too, right? I don't think we scared her away.
I don't think we did.
I think she's made a tougher stuff than us.
I think so.
Yeah, that was fun. Good times. Mm-hmm. Okay, Samantha, here's something interesting that you know how we always say, "Oh, imagine if we got praise and accolades for stuff that we actually did and invented, and we don't."
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember a while back on a podcast we discussed a toaster that needed a window?
Yes.
Right? Because remember I said I had issues with toasters. Why can't they have a window? Because I don't want it to be a toaster oven. I want a toaster with a window.
Yes.
Well, oddly enough, turns out that there's one on the market. It's called a dash toaster. Samantha,
really?
We need to copyright our shit. They took our idea, obviously. There was never talk of that except for us. Because our big thing was that it's not a toaster oven. It's a toaster.
With a window.
Right. Because we don't trust the lever that is factory set to tell me that on number 2, my toast will be just fine.
Right.
Right? Because it doesn't know. How does it know? It don't know.
Oh my God.
So now, magically, this item appears.
We could have made a ton of money.
Oh, do we not know anybody that does copyright lawyering?
I don't know.
We must have a connection somewhere.
I don't know.
Or somebody could point us in the right direction, right? What's that judge of ours up to lately? Can't he point us in the right direction?
Do you feel like maybe the dash toaster was out before we had the toaster talk, though?
I never heard of it before.
Mm-hmm.
Did you?
I don't know.
No. So no, I don't feel that actually. No, I actually do not feel that.
Okay. All right.
All right. I'm just saying.
Okay. All right. Okay. So with warmer weather, my mind turned to shooting things. I'm not sure why.
Okay.
But have you ever thought about like why we still hunt big game?
Yeah, because we are horrible, horrible human beings.
But like when I'm thinking big game, I'm thinking like
the
endangered,
elephants?
like the endangered species stuff.
Yeah. Why? Why does this? It's a sport.
It is. Well, it's not a good sport because they die.
Yeah. Why is this something that still happens? Because the whole thing in life is that when you know better, you're supposed to stop and do better.
Right.
Right. So the world knows better.
Uh-huh.
But we don't do better.
No, not in this. No, because people still do this. Like normal hunting, because we do have to sort of control the deer population and all of that kind of stuff. So that is regulated. That kind of hunting is regulated.
And that's and just so we're clarified, right? That is hunting that's not used with an assault weapon, right?
Right.
Right. Okay. Right. Because I would understand needing that shotgun, but not needing necessarily an assault rifle shotgun.
Well, because I think when people go hunting, they actually like,
we're talking for animals, not people hunting with an assault rifle.
No, not people. Last time I checked.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify, right? Because there's a lot going on with guns out there in the world.
Well, this is true.
So I just want a clarification. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think it's weird, the whole big, like that. It's like the safari hunting thing, because like people go on these trips and the whole goal is to like get an elephant tusk.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. It's weird.
But then you know what else is weird, Samantha? I think that the bar that we probably visited while we're on our vacation is weird because they have heads of like...
They do have heads of animals
everything
and bears and stuff.
Right? Everything's stuffed and taxidermied to death. I think that's all, like, I get that that's your trophy, like, woohoo, but I, like, why do we need to stuff the fox? It's a fox.
I don't know.
Right? And when it comes to big game hunting, right? Do we need to like shoot the rhinoceros? It's why?
That's true.
Like, what's the benefit of it? I don't get it. I just think that it's just a crazy rich man sport that's horrible.
It is a crazy rich man sport.
Yeah, it's not cool.
No, but you know what is cool?
What?
Cinnamon buns.
But are they? How do we feel? How do we really feel?
Cinnamon buns are cool. You're about to get some for your summer.
I've just had some for my summer.
You've just had some for your
had some, and they were delightful. Thank you.
They were delightful.
Right?
But cinnamon buns are good. You don't necessarily need them with icing. Sometimes you do, and sometimes you don't.
Yes. How do you feel? Which do you prefer?
I only like it with white icing. I'm not good with a glaze. Like, I think that's too sticky.
Oh, okay. I'm okay with a glaze. I'm okay with an icing. I'm okay with anything, actually, with them.
So basically, you just want all the sweet stuff.
Yeah, because I'm just going to use a knife and fork and be very proper and not get it all over me.
That is very true.
So I'm not too worried if it's sticky, right? Because I'm just going to have, my fork doesn't care. My fork's okay with that.
Your fork is very okay with it.
Yeah, so I'm okay with that. But I love cinnamon, but I love, I love a cinnamon bun. Right?
I do too.
So delicious, right?
Mm-hmm.
So delicious.
So delicious.
Awesome.
Okay, Lisa.
Samantha.
Let's move on to I Shake My Heads.
Okay, let's do it.
What's making you shake your head this week?
The wind. The wind from the weeks. Wind in general. I don't get wind. Like, why do we have to have wind? How does wind develop? Where does wind come from? I don't get wind. Right? I get rain. I don't get wind. I shake my head at wind.
It's been very windy for the last month.
Yes, and I shake my head at the wind a lot because I'm like, hey, dear wind, like enough already.
Enough,
right?
Yeah.
Like, why do you got to be windy too? Like, why?
And when it's windy, all it does is bring bad clouds and
that's all
rain
it does.
And
exactly. Yeah, that's all it does.
Perhaps the sun is unhappy with us and thinks you only deserve wind and clouds.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. I don't know.
Mother Nature. It's Mother Nature again.
It's Mother Nature again. What about you, Samantha? What have you been shaking your head at?
Oh, I've stepped back onto the shellac bandwagon.
Oh, what are you shellacking again?
My fingers and my toes.
Why are you shellacking?
Because I wanted pretty fingers, and now I'm addicted again.
To shellac.
To shellac, because it doesn't go away, and you don't have to worry about it, and I don't know, but now I'm addicted and now I can't stop. I mean, I stopped for over 2 years and now just bam, one time. And I'm like, no, I got to keep going Gotta keep going.
And so like, you're just changing your polish all the time?
Well, like every couple of weeks, because your fingernails grow faster than your toes. Did you know that? It's because your fingers see the sunlight more.
No, I didn't know that. Interesting.
Did you know that?
No. But I know that they grow fast.
They do.
Right? Because you got to keep on top of that. Yeah. Right? So you don't have gnarly fingers.
So you don't have well, I don't have gnarly fingers now, but now I'm shaking my head because now I'm back on the shellac wagon. So.
Well, have fun with that. I can't help you out with that there.
I know.
Sorry. Have fun.
Uh-huh.
Have fun.
All right, guys, we love to hear your feedback, so please send us some of your feedback. You can direct message us on Instagram or Facebook. You can send it to our email, which is ishakemyhead@gmail.com or ismhead@gmail.com. And you might find it being mentioned here during one of our episodes. So that's kind of cool.
Absolutely. Yep.
Want to thank John for putting together the episode. As always, does a really great job. And Lisa, is there anything else?
I want to thank Caitlin.
Yes, let's again thank Caitlin for coming on and joining us on our wee little podcast.
Yes, absolutely. That was nice. That was super nice. Mm-hmm. No, I got nothing else for you. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done with you.
I'm done with this.
I'm done with you. I'm done with this. No. No, and of course I could keep rambling, but we get in trouble for that. Yes, right? So we're not supposed to. We're not supposed to.
Wrap it up.
I'm good, Samantha. You know what? Always a pleasure.
It should be.
Who's a pretty girl? I'm a pretty girl.